Hello, beautiful people. So, it is I, Ripastrea. Introductions. I feel like I'm yelling a little bit more than I should. So, I had 2 tiny baby croissants today and some water. I'm feeling pretty lively. I also have these little snacks. What are they called? I don't know what they're called, but it's like it's kind of like on the same like wavelength question mark of like Pocky, but it's not. It's like a shell of a cookie, and the inside is the pink stuff, whatever it's called. I don't know. But I'll probably be snacking on that a little bit, because when it comes to me and writing, sometimes snacking can help me. So, for those who don't know, Alaina log research thingies. Alaina's abnormal research logs. That's probably the better way of saying it. What is this? If you haven't seen the video, its links are in the description. But basically, it's like a funny little story idea I had where I'm like, man, I kind of want to write something about like people who have like people that were once human suddenly getting consumed by like a desire or something that affected them to the point that they have like a specific mutation in their body that it warps their body to become this thing. For example, behind me is the Ink Man, also known as Silas, right? I changed his name a few times. I can't remember which one is the one that I confirmed. I had to look back on the video. I wrote this stuff and I forget. But yeah. For example, his whole thing is he's like a painter, and he also very much wants to like basically he's spiteful towards the world because it took his sister away, so he wants to like make other people suffer, but like the way he does, he could either give them a swift death or make it very like painful and drawn out to the point where the person wants to end their own life. That's what he wants to do. He wants to make people suffer like his sister has suffered. So that's basically like the thing that I have like where like their powers correlate to something that they are passionate, desired, what they want basically. And then Alaina here, she also has one of them. She's also an abnormal. She also has a mutation. Her backstory won't come until like very later on basically. But she has basically the ability to reverse her body before any state of damage was done. So if someone cut her head off, boom, like a rewind tape, it goes back to how it was before. Or if she got like a sudden sickness, maybe she'll figure like for example, when she got stained with ink here's like weird fluids, she'll jump back to that as well. I haven't thought too much of the like how far back she can rewind. I'm still debating on whether or not I want her to have the ability to also reverse like her age. But I'm like, would that be too overpowered if I gave her that ability? But that's something that I'm keeping in the back of my mind. I think I might make it like a canon thing for her. Because like if she can rewind injured parts and come back from the dead, I'm like, yeah, it would make sense if she can go back to a specific age if she feels like it's required or the need to. That being said, Alaina is the main character. This whole setting is like SCP Foundation type of vibes where basically they hold containment all these people. But my thing is humans that turned into abnormals. Oh no, I realize that the chat is being blocked. So where? Hold on, wait. Let me move it. Ink's in the way. How dare you? Oh, there we go. You know what? You're right. When it comes to like and even then, when it's the main character, it's fine for them to be a smidge overpowered. And like reversing your age, how overpowered can that really be? Maybe I should just let her have that ability, because what's the worst that could happen in the future? So I'll probably like debate on that, because I'm still trying to figure out what powers would, like, what else to add on to her as the main character. I'm like, should she only have the ability just to reverse herself? Because she also has the bonus ability of reversing people, which is why her whole mission, basically, the reason why she's thrown into, like, the deep end and why she's forced to interact with all these abnormal people is because the more she knows about these people before they were turned into whatever they were turned into, she can reverse their bodies back to that original form. And that's the goal here. So I'm like, that's pretty overpowered in its own sense, but it's like not to the point where it's like alarming, because it does require her to have information. So I'm still thinking of like some things, like, you know, some little caveats here and there. But yeah, basically that's what's going on with her. And I have 4 ideas for what I want for the next 4 episodes to be like. I don't know which order I will put them in though, but you could see one person is going to be a mimic, so basically they can copy other people's appearances, obviously. A funny idea I had was a magical girl. I have more ideas on this one, I'll get back to that later. And then a person who just has foul, rotten luck. Everywhere they go, something bad will always happen. This one I'm the least confident with writing with, because I'm like, how can that work if all of them are contained in this box? And how much bad stuff could happen in that box, you know? Because everyone is in a containment room, right? So when we get to that, I'll see what I can think of. And then the last one, she's not interacting with a normal person, but instead her coworkers, because I also want to flesh out the world a little bit. I don't want to just be solely focused on her. Yes, she's an employee of this place, but what is this place? What's more about this place that she's working for? I have a name for the organization. I think I have to look. Wait, let me check my notes if I have it actually written down. It was, I think I also stated it in the, I mentioned it in the video as well. See, I'm like, I have all of these notes and then not enough, not organized enough. I gotta organize my notes, but the purpose of this stream is to help organize myself a little better and to get these ideas down, because sometimes finding time in the day to get, like, actually sit down and write is a little difficult. So I'm like, this is a good excuse to do that. Where the frick is my notes? What the? Give me one second. Look at the background. I still have to make the backgrounds as well, like, and because, like, again, the background that you're seeing right now, I pulled that straight from Roblox. I just basically, whenever I'm like, I can't do backgrounds, I just use 3D models, and hey, Roblox is a good tool for that, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, let's see, what was the name of the organization? I know I've written it down somewhere. Ooh. One moment. Unless I didn't wrote it down. Or maybe I'm still contemplating the name of the organization. I definitely wrote it, though. Chi. Where the frick are you? Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's all that matters when it comes to writing, too. As long as, like, you know, the idea is there. Like, you could always polish it later. So, like, this is the point of this writing stream. A lot of, like, most of the things I'm probably going to be writing down will probably be a little scrapped or maybe, like, changed a little bit. So it's like that meme where it's like, get the idea down when it shows like an artist doing a sketch, and then boom, do it amazing later. Where the frick is the... I think I wrote the organization somewhere. What? Wrong thing. Okay. Unless if I didn't think of a name, then I guess I'll figure it out later. Organization. No, I didn't. I think I just blatantly just said it's just called abnormal. Yeah, just abnormal research. That's the most it's called, but I thought it was something else. Okay. Abnormal research something. If I want to like do more with the name, I'll do more with the name. But okay, now for time to actually start writing. So I want to start with the magical girl first because I actually have ideas with her first. So I'm gonna move the mimic all the way over here real quick. So with the magical girl, I actually have vague ideas. So let me pull up my other cheat sheet because I have a secondary cheat sheet with like another rough idea. It's basically notepads. I have notepads for everything. Okay, where are you? Okay, so you know, I'll just go by memory as well. So with this story, what I have in mind is, hold on, let me make sure the OBS is also noticeable so I can see it there in the corner. Okay, so basically a young girl. She's young. I don't know how old she is. Maybe 14, 13. I'll figure that out. Young girl, personality, or... Sorry, I forget that clicking that button also mutes me. Okay. So that's gonna be a dilemma. Okay. So her thing is, doesn't like adults. Doesn't like adults. I haven't thought of her name yet, so I'll get around to that as well. Doesn't like adults. Wants children to be happy. Is young. Friendly, and so magical girls, right? Magical girls in their universes especially, they can become incredibly overpowered. So I was really debating on what, like, because like, for example, Ink right behind me, he's a level B threat, which is like, can destroy basically. So these are all the levels of, let me look up the levels so I can get like the correct things. So anything that's a level F are seemingly not dangerous things, but they're mysterious. So it's still good to keep an eye on them, but they can freely wander the facility basically. And then level B, they can harm people, but it's not common unless provoked or by accident. Usually, so think of it like a curling iron basically, where like you can hurt yourself with a curling iron, but it's not likely to happen if you're careful. And with those level D threats, they're like, yeah, we're not really that harmful. Or same like with like a porcupine, where like they're pretty chill. Like the only time they can hurt you is if like they, you know, try to use their spines against you. You know what? Yes. I'll name her Laura. I never use that name for any writing, honestly. It's such a pretty name. Oh, Laura. Okay, boom. That's her name. Like, but for the most part, obviously, all these characters go by, like, their like, abnormal name, but it's good to have, like, knowledge of, like, their full background when they were human. So, Laura, name, Silent Hill 2. Okay. So, level D basically can harm people, but not common. Level C, they can harm people, but choose not to. So it's the difference between C and D is that with D, it's not as common, but with C, it can be common if the threat chooses to, and that's what makes it a bump higher, because they have more of like the smarts question mark, be like, oh yeah, like a person basically. A person can choose not to hurt someone, but they can do it. That's what level C is like. And then level B, where they can destroy, which is what Ink here is they can destroy like a town, a city, like a large group of people basically, and they're hostile, so they don't choose, they want to hurt people. And then there's the level A threat, where they can like destroy a country or something, where it's like more alarming. And then a level S, which this will be the rarest find ever, because not that many people can reach that peak of what the frickery in their abnormal mutation. But basically think of it like god level, like someone like that can like destroy the planet, which hopefully no one can reach that level. But in the future, if I do decide to make a character that level, they'll likely be classified as a level C threat, but a potential to be a level S threat. Like, for example, let's say someone's like, oh, I have a god complex, but I also care for people, so I'm not gonna destroy the world, and their mutation basically gives them the abilities to be a god. That's like, you know, it's alarming, but they'll probably be like, oh no, I'm chill, don't worry, I'm just, you know, you guys, it's basically like that one. I think, isn't there actually an SCP that is God, but they just choose to chill in the facility? Whatever that SCP is like, similar vibe to that, I think, if I were to make a character like that. But then that leads to the dilemma with here, because magical girls, especially in anime, I love magical girls, they can become super powerful. Sailor Moon, for example, and that other, what was the name of that one? I can't remember it. But basically, you know, they can become gods, right? So I'm like, should I give her that same luxury? But she is a young girl, so I'm like, I should make her start off as like a level C, you know, and have it, like, as I mentioned before, clarify that she could become worse if not treated soon, which is why once they figured out Alaina's power does work, and they're like, so she can reverse people, let's point her in the direction of this magical girl before this magical girl decides to become a villain in the future. And she's like, oh, I can, Elena's like, oh yeah, I guess I can talk to children, that's not gonna be difficult at all. But you know, again, the dilemma of her not liking adults. And when it comes to writing backstories, I'm always flip-flopping between what I want to do, because in the first episode, we already have a tragic backstory. A guy who lost his a guy who lost his sister because of bullying and all that stuff, and like she took her own life, right? So I'm like, should I continue down that dark path, or just make it so she just does not, she's like insecure about growing up and like things like that? Because like I always like the more serious things when it comes to like stories. Like, I don't know why, I just like it when things like take a serious turn where you're like, oh, this person is like, they're tragic, they're so sad. But I'm like, I don't know, because like I also don't want to take it too far. So I'm like, I'm debating on whether it should be like something along the lines of like she just had crappy adults in her life, but I'm like, then how crappy should they be? So I decided that maybe I'll still do that same premise of it being like a little sad of a backstory, but I'm not gonna make it like the most like tragic thing ever, because I don't want to. I don't know, I don't want to make it too sad. So I'm like, I'll just make it so she like, maybe she was like a foster child, where she like went home to home, but none of the families worked out, and like she doesn't want to grow up. It's like a Peter Pan situation. She does not want to grow up. So I think I'll do something like that. When I get inspired, I get inspired by things, and I guess Peter Pan will be the inspiration, and magical girls are all in one. All right. So she's friendly, but don't let that underestimate you. So these are things. Okay. Stop muting yourself, okay? How do I write this? Was a orphan, that's the word I'm looking for. Or, how do you spell orphan? Orphan, why did I put an E? Is that correct? Again, my dyslexia will come through very, very persistently. Yay, I did it correctly. Okay, is an orphan who went from home to home, never fitting in, Never fitting in. Let's see. Doesn't want to grow up. Okay. Doesn't want to grow up. Okay, and then now powers. Powers. What? Okay, one power that I have, because she has a disdain for adults and she wants to, like, be a child. One idea I have is to change people's ages. Change people's ages. And then the classic things. So what magical girls? They have obviously the power to, like, change their clothes. So I guess it's like Supergirl transformation, but I don't know if that had to be clarified here. I don't think that needs to be clarified. But let's see, what are common powers that are found in magical girls? Let's see. Magical girl powers. Magical girl powers involve superhuman abilities, transformations, and unique personalized magic, often granted by special items, or she should probably have a special item. I think. I'm debating on, like, whether I should give her like an animal companion, or just, like, maybe a stuffed animal. Actually, a stuffed animal. Yes. Okay. Stuffed animal. We'll figure out what animal later. Stuffed animal. Okay. That will be the source of her powers. Okay. That could be, like, something that she took with her from home to home, and that's, like, the only, like, constant. Speaking of stuffed animals, I keep seeing, like, this one monkey where like they have, like, a stuffed monkey as, like, their, like, mother almost, and I'm like, that's kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie. Strength, speed, ability, along with combat abilities. So basically, I'll just say, like, generic magical girl, like, fighting abilities. Yeah, like, that's the thing, which is probably why Alaina will be, like told to meet with her next after Ink, because after getting confirmed that she can reverse them, it's good to stop someone from becoming a god. And magical girls, that's, like, a recipe of them super becoming a god. Granted, I also forgot to mention this. When it comes to the people who have these mutations, Alaina, she can reverse them back to when they were in their human appearance, but they'll still obtain their powers. So that's, like, still something that's gonna remain. So it's best to, like, make sure to, like, basically calm down this, like, young girl from, like, being, like, more hateful and spiteful towards the world, so she can work for the Foundation. I think that's gonna be one of the goals for the Foundation. Besides just helping people, they also want to use these people, not to their advantage, but basically use it to make the world better. And, like, having this girl fight off, like, be like, I'm a magical girl, I'll help find other mutated people, other abnormal people, and bring them to the facility so we can cure them. So that's probably gonna be, like, something that's gonna be talked about in her episode, I hope. Okay, let's see, what was I gonna write? Okay, generic, how do you spell generic? Eric? That is not correct. Is that correct? Pause on all of that. No, that's a drug. What? Generic. What? Generic. How do you spell generic? What? Hold up. Generic. No, yeah, that's correct. What? That's really how you spell it doesn't look right. This is why I hate writing, because why does that not look correct? Hold up. Generic refers to products, terms, or concepts that are yeah, that is correct. Why does that? Okay. Why is there a drug called that? Who cares? Google, you're weird. Okay. Writing is such a pain, especially when you're dyslexic, but I've been writing since, like, high school, so I'm forcing myself to be a okay-ish writer. Okay, generic, magical girl combat can become a level S threat, but is currently a level C. Okay. What else? Okay. The abnormal should I call it facility? Wait, what's the when it comes to like organizations, I don't know if I should call it organization or facility. Let me see if organization. So just see. An organization is a structure group of this is so sad that I have to look up definitions for a lot of things. Group of people collaborating to achieve common goals, such as profit, social services, often operating as maybe, and then it's still doing research, and they still have a common goal, maybe an organization or facility. Facility. What's the difference? A facility is a physical structure, building, or equipment designed for a specific purpose, such as school, hospitals, or factory. That could kind of work. These spaces provide essential infrastructure for services, commercial activities, and public use. Common types include medical education. I'll say facility, because it's kind of like they're being kept. Abnormal research facility has... And then the organization. The organization will be like a different ballpark, but still associated with abnormal research, because it's obviously the same umbrella. Okay, abnormal research wants her to work with them to continue finding and capturing more abnormal people. Cool, okay. Doesn't like adults, wants children to be happy, is young, friendly, but sassy, like most children. Let me tell you, recently, every time I interact with like a child, like a cousin or anything like that, they have like the sassiest attitude. And I don't know if it's just like my family, because, you know, my family's goofy like that. But every once in a while, I'm just staring at them being like, hey, how you doing? And they're like, girl, let me tell you some gossip about my middle school. And I'm like, what? It's so alarmingly funny. Okay. An orphan who went home, so that's like a piece of her backstory. And let's see. Okay. There. Well, that's the good points for her. And I have, I think, a smidge of an idea of what I want the opening to be. Let me see. Okay. Now, this is where we actually write the stuff. And I'm gonna write it like an actual script. Or at least attempt to. It's been a while since I've done it like this. Okay. So, Alaina walks... Nope. Alaina turns on her recorder before entering the containment cell to meet with her next... I was gonna say patient. To meet with the... What's kind of a patient situation, but not really. To meet with the next abnormal person. Luckily no violence. Luckily no violence for now. Luckily no violence will happen as soon as she enters. I don't know if I have to specify that, but I'm gonna specify that anyways. Alaina. Boom. Okay. Hello. Her voice, I'm not gonna lie, when I had to like freaking record for the video, it was a mess, because I'm like, okay, what voice do I even wanted to give her? So I decided to make it like a hushed voice. But I have this weird habit where every time I hit record on like like anything, my voice just goes, "What's up, YouTuber?" I said this before, and it's still gonna be like something that's stuck with me forever. So trying to sound like this and be very calm is not the easiest sometimes. And, like, the same dilemma when it comes to gloom for my personality stuff. I also have to still freaking animate that video. I have the script done. It's just the animation part. That's taking a bit. Okay. Hello, sweetheart. Words. Introductions, because it's always important to say her name to the person who she's going to talk to. I'm Alaina, and I'll be chatting with you. So what would be a good way for her to, like... Oh, wait. No, I got an idea. Okay, wait. Hello, sweetheart. I'm Alaina, and... no, I lost what I was saying. Oh, no. Okay. Hello, sweetheart. I'm Alaina, and... No, yeah, that works still, actually. I'll be chatting with you today. Stop hitting. I should switch that mute button because I have to use that for writing. Okay. What? Okay, her code name is just gonna be Magical Girl, but like later on when she reveals her name, she'll tell her what her name is. Okay. So for now, yikes. This will be her name. Okay. Magical Girl. And Alaina is obviously very much an adult, so she's not gonna come in like hostile, but she's gonna come in like not happy. No. No thanks. Let me. I feel like I should also like switch this below so I can like, or maybe I should just say Oh, wait, I gotta figure out how to make this look more decent. Okay. The episode. How do you spell episode? Episode. Okay. There. I don't really need to do that, but I like to separate my needed text from everything else. Okay. I don't need to have that. Just put a Laura down there. Okay, Laura. Okay, perfect. Okay. No thanks. And then obviously, if someone just says no thanks to your offer of chatting, they'll be like, what? Huh? What? Eh? I don't know why. Something about like just dialogue that's just like a pause going, what? Makes me laugh a little too much. Okay. Which makes me very immature. Okay. Look. Okay. I feel like I should also make like the text a little smaller, but I also want it to be readable on stream. Okay. What should the magical girl say? Actually, no. What? What the frick was that about? Okay. Okay, wait. Magical girl, she has the ability to change people's ages. Doesn't like adults. Alaina's an adult, so she's going to do this. Whoop. Not bold. Okay. Actually, I should also change this every time it's not that. There. Perfect. Okay. So I can differentiate like what's being seen and then spoken dialogue. Okay. The magical girl turns to look at Alaina and has a mischievous smile before or should she? I don't know if I should also give her a wand along with the teddy bear. You know, why not? Magical girls, wands, it makes sense. And wand. Perfect. So her power, maybe I should make it so her teddy bear, like, I can't remember what anime I'm trying to think of, but there's like one anime where it shows like this girl who has like a bunny for a puppet, and she has like the ability to like summon this rabbit beast, so maybe she has like a similar vibe to that, which this could be like a very scary power, which maybe is probably how she got caught in the first place, because maybe she was like in a dangerous situation, and the rabbit's like, yo, let me help you, and maybe that's how they caught her. I realized that in the last, in the first episode of Alaina's research, I never really specified how Ink was captured. They just found him, basically, when he was going on a rampage. I guess I could specify it for her here, because, hey, magical girl, how did they capture that? I'll see you later. Okay, magical girl turns to look at Alaina and has a mischievous smile before raising her wand and waving it in her direction. This action confused Alaina until suddenly she started to shrink. Her body becomes noticeably younger. Words, please. Okay. Noticeably younger. Okay. Yeah. This is like the way I normally do it, I don't do it like this. I'm doing it for the convenience of like the stream, so it's a lot like this is honestly the more professional way of writing a script, kind of ish. I mean, I haven't seen fully like the script process of things, but normally the way I do it is kind of like where I do this paragraph, talking lines, paragraph. That's how I normally do it, but it's not really the most nicest to look at, so I have to do this a little bit more frequently so it looks better. I'm also gonna move this down to the below so it's not fully in the way. I could always reference off of it. Okay. And I have no idea what the magical girl will look like either. I'll figure that out once I get there. But like, I could make her generic. I could make... What color? Holy, do you guys have a preference for what color the magical girl should be? I feel like if I make her blonde, it would be too on the nose for Sailor Moon. And I feel like pink is used a lot, but pink is a really nice color, which I'm not biased at all. Like, do you guys have a preference for what color you want this magical girl? Because like every magical girl has their main colors. Because I legit, I have no vision for what I want this girl to look like. Because I'm thinking of like every magical girl in existence merged into like a colorful mess. So the magical girl turns to look at Alaina and has a mischievous smile before raising her wand and waving it in her direction. This action confused Alaina until suddenly she started to shrink. Her body became noticeably younger. She's now the age of... I'll say 13. She's now the age of 13. And her coat is noticeably baggy. Is humorously baggy. Humorously big on her. When I make the sprite for her, that's gonna... I have to draw her young. That's gonna be so cute. Okay. Okay, apparently I don't know how to spell humorous. Which is true, I rarely ever use that word. Okay. So a small little change. What? The E was an O. Why am I this dumb? Okay. She's now the age of 13, and her coat is humorously big on her. Okay. Okay. Alaina. What the? Don't swear in front of a kid. Okay. Magical girl. Words. When it comes to writing, drink plenty of water, people. Alright. Magical girl. What will she say? She'll probably, honestly, I'll just probably just say... Actually... Magical... Actually, wait, go back to the beginning. So Alaina turns to her recorder before entering the containment cell to meet with the next... I should also... Because I also have... There's also narrator dialogue. When it comes to me and doing a narrator voice, as it was probably noticed during, like, the video... What I think narrators usually, like, they try to sound more mature, and I try to sound like this. But I also, like, every time I did that, I'm like, man, I feel like I just sound like a doofus. But if I don't do it, because like, if I were to narrate like this, being like, the magical girl turns to look at Alaina, like, people would be like, I don't know if that will, like, because, like, it's kind of a serious story. So I'm like, I feel like I gotta put in some effort into at least making the narration sound like a narrator, though I'm not the most narration type of person, which is strange because I make an analysis video where I'm technically narrating throughout the whole video. But that one is excusable because I can talk like myself. Okay. So, actually, wait, no. I don't even need... Honestly, everything like this could just be the narrator's dialogue, and I'll just input what I think. Because, like, for the most part, it's very much just like a visual novel type of element. I do want to add more, like, scenes where it's like a fully art piece, so because I feel like that would be very pleasant. I think I'll do that for this one, if I remember. So, okay, anytime it looks like this is just gonna be the Alaina, the narrator's dialogue. Okay, Alaina turns on her recorder before entering the containment cell to meet with a new abnormal patient. Luckily, no violence will happen. Luckily, no violence. Luckily, no violence happened as soon as she entered, because inside was a young girl playing with her stuffed animal. With her stuffed animal. Okay. Should I also make the narrator introduce the young girl now? I'll make the narrator introduce her here. Okay. Hello. Hi, sweetheart. I'm Alaina, and I'll be chatting with you today. No, thanks. What? The magical girl turns to look at Alaina and has a mischievous... Wait. The magical girl turns to look at Alaina and has a mischievous smile before raising her wand and waving it in a direction. This confused Alaina until suddenly she started to shrink. Her body became noticeably younger. She's now the age of 13, and her coat is humorously big. What the? The magical girl giggles in response before returning to her toy. Wait, I wanted to make it so, like, a lot of the containment people, so depending on, like, what level of containment and how hostile they are, I want to make it so some of them have, like, the luxury to decorate their room. So I also have, like, the mindset of maybe allowing, like, the magical girl to have, like, because, like, their whole point of the facility and, like, wanting to make her join their side, they have to keep her happy and make her like them. So the best thing that they could do is obviously say, hey, how do you want your room to be decorated? And she's like, I want pink fluffy unicorns. I want a PlayStation. whatever a little girl wants, being like, give me a Barbie. I want a Barbie. Things like that. So let me see. I kind of, because I want the narrator, because, like, you're also still seeing it in the video. So I guess I don't have to make the narrator point out what the room looks like, but I feel like it's always nice to mention it. Now I'll save it for later. That's like a little thought that I have, though. Let me write that here so I remember. Pretty girly room. Pretty girly room. There. Alright, okay. Magical girl giggles in response before returning to her toy. This made Alaina a little annoyed, but she... Should I actually say that? No, yeah. Okay, the magical girl giggles in response before turning to her toy. This made Alaina a little annoyed, but she doesn't... When Alaina, she reverses back her body, she doesn't really do an action. It kind of just happens spontaneously. So I guess I'll just say, this made Alaina a little annoyed, but she soon let out a sigh as her body reverted back to normal. The magical girl giggled in response before returning to her toy. This made Alaina a little annoyed, but she soon let out a sigh as her body reverted back to normal. This sudden change caught the magical... Oh gosh, spelling that a lot, it's gonna be a handful. The magical girl's attention, and she quickly... Words... Thank you. And she quickly stood... I don't think I meant... Okay, the way I'm picturing this in my head, the little girl, she's like sitting down on like a fluffy carpet, playing with her toy, doing whatever she wants. Alaina walks in. She's like, I'm not gonna pay attention to you. But then once, you know, Alaina shows off that she's an abnormal, the little girl is gonna be instantly piqued. She's like, I'm standing up. You're also a magical girl. Okay, right, okay. This sudden change caught the magical girl's attention, and she quickly stood up to approach... Okay, the reason why I write so weirdly when it comes to a keyboard is because I'm so used to writing on my phone. I don't ask why. Okay. Soon approaches? Wait. This sudden change caught the magical girl's attention, and she quickly stood up to approach Alaina. Magical girl. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Anytime Google Docs just gives me like the option to be like, hey, you kind of spelled that incorrectly, my immediate mindset is to always say thank you, and I don't know why I'm like that. Okay. Are you also a magical girl? Alaina. Not exactly. We're not... Okay, like, Alaina, she wouldn't classify herself as a magical girl, obviously. She'd be like, I have abnormal abilities, though. Okay, no, yeah, that's what she's gonna say. Not exactly. I do have an abnormal mutation, though. Abnormal mutation, though. Okay, there. And then this is where now the narrator comes in to share information about the magical girl. Okay. Because, like, here's the thing. It's always... The thing that worries me when it comes to, like, this, like, series. Because, like, I want to, like, hook in the viewer. And I want the magical girl to be there. I don't want the narrator taking too much. Which is why I wanted to save the narrator for here. But I'm like, I don't know. It feels a little... shoehorned in. Keep going anyways. Okay. Not exactly. I do have a mutation though. Okay. Alaina nervously laughs as the magical girl begins to circle around her. This young girl is a level C threat with a high potential, I spelled that incorrectly, with a high potential of becoming a level S threat. Okay, as I've mentioned before. Okay. Alaina nervously laughs as the magical girl begins to circle around her. This young girl is a level C threat with a high potential of becoming a level S threat. By the way, if it wasn't obvious, I have this bad habit when it comes to writing of constantly rereading a sentence or a very small paragraph like this multiple times, because if I don't read it multiple times, my head will never like process it correctly, which doesn't make sense because I'm writing this. I should process it, but it's like, no, you could process it more. Okay. Level B threat. The reason why it's believed she could become something incredibly dangerous, or someone incredibly dangerous. The reason why it's believed, okay, let me do it in the narrator voice. Alaina nervously laughs as the magical girl begins to circle around her. This young girl is a level C threat with a high potential of becoming a level S threat. The reason why it's believed she could become someone incredibly dangerous is because of her love for fictional magical girl characters who have the abilities to become a god. Ooh. Nope. Fictional. For her fictional. Please spell that correctly. Thank you. Okay. And stuff. Okay. The reason why it's believed she could become someone incredibly dangerous is because of her love for fictional magical girl characters who have the abilities to become... Wait. Okay, doing the narrator voice trips my brain up now. Okay. The reason why it's believed she could become someone incredibly dangerous is because of her love for fictional magical girl characters who have the abilities to become a god. If this girl could one day obtain such power, it could possibly change or ruin the world as we know it. So, abnormal research words are in a hurry to abnormal research if this girl could one day obtain such power, it could possibly change or ruin the world as we know it. So abnormal research are in a hurry to get this girl to join them. Okay, I was about to say, is R correct? Or yeah, it's not. Okay. Is in a hurry to get this girl to join them. With her potential, she could become a powerful ally for the organization. Organize words, please autocorrect. Thank you. For the organization to capture more abnormal people. You know, I'm still debating on what I want to call the abnormal stuff. Like, I at first I'm like, should I just call them abnormals? Like with an S? Or should I call them abnormal folks? But then abnormal folks sounds way too friendly. So I think just put abnormals to call it, just with an S, no peoples. That's too much of a mouthful. Okay. So abnormal research is in a hurry to get this girl to join them. With her potential, she could become a powerful ally for the organization to capture more abnormals. Hence, why Alaina was sent to her, despite not being a current threat. Despite not being a current threat. Okay. There we go. That's the narrator's dialogue. Okay. What should I name the episode? It's probably just gonna be the magical girl, honestly. Okay. Okay. There. What else should I also add in the description? No, I think that's a good amount. Okay. So, magical girl dialogue. Ah. Okay. So, introductions, gave her name, no thanks, but is now interested, piqued my interest. Nah. You're also a magical girl. Oh, I realized that I have to do a young girl's voice. So I don't have anything against doing look, I'm constantly like practicing voice acting and things like that. So I'm trying to like always adjust my pitch to like certain characters. I'm even trying to like learn how to do like mascot kind of voices where like you know Mickey Mouse was like, "Hello boys, boys and girls, how you doing?" I want to do like a bunch of variety of weird voices. I'm getting good at doing mature voices, though it could still use a bit of work. But when it comes to like young girl voices, which this is going to be a dilemma for me, it's still a toss-up because sometimes I feel like I'm straining my voice a little too high, and like there's a inflection or like a specific way that young children talk that I don't know if I could mimic that correctly. And like it's like, well, give me one second. I will figure this out. Like this is like the highest I can go, and it's not the greatest. Okay. I think I also might need to warm up my voice because that's not gonna work out, and my voice is all cracky right now. I can actually go higher. I've experimented before where I don't want to blow no one's eardrums though. Like, oh, mother frickers, I sound like a fairy. That's not a child voice at all though. That's like a weirdness. Okay. Just, you know, a part of me kind of wants to like, you know, like be like, I kind of do want to reach out to people, be like, hey, do you want a voice in a project of mine? But like also the dilemma is, you know, I don't want these, like, I know people are willing to like volunteer for little things like that because like I'm too broke, but I also don't want people to do it for free. I'm like, I want to pay you guys. If I have the money one day, I will definitely like do like a little audition process being like, hey, do you guys like want to do like a little one shot for like, you know, voice a character for one episode or thing like that. Like that would be something that I would aspire to do in the future, but only when I have like the money to do it because I want people to get paid for their work. Okay. Nah, it's you're also a magical girl. But you look a little boring. But you look I was gonna make it sound a little more mean. I was gonna say, but you look kind of ugly. Alina's not ugly. She just dresses plainly. She has bags under her eyes. Now you're also a magical girl, just a plain one. Just a plain one. Alaina? Ah. Come on. Okay, well, stop doing that. Okay. Rude. Well, not all caps. Rude. Anyways, can we talk now? You know, I had a similar dilemma where in the previous the first video of the abnormal research ones, I had like a funny thought to make it so after I was gonna make it so Alaina was a lot more funny is the best way I could put it. Like she's kind of like a coward. I'm not gonna lie, she is a bit of a coward, but she's still determined and she does get easily excited. You know, she has like those little quirks to her, but I also had like little funny moments that I desperately wanted to add to the script, but I couldn't because I'm like, that would take out of the seriousness. Like for example, Ink said something along the lines being like, they may not have been the one who killed her, but their hands are still stained with her blood, right? I was gonna make it so Alaina said, oh, bars. But I was like, no, she's not gonna say that. The situation is too serious. Oh, see, magical girls. There's so many SCPs out there. If any of my characters end up overlapping, I'm like, hey, if it happens, it happens. But like, I'm actually very interested. I'm not gonna look at the SCP though, because I don't want to accidentally seem like I'm copying them because I get like the knowledge being like, oh yeah, they can do that. I'm gonna steal that. I'm not gonna do that. I take inspiration, but I'm worried that my inspiration could be seen as copying. So I'm like, I gotta avoid that. But yeah, like for hers, I'll just make it so she can change people's ages. She can make, I think her thing is mostly centered around like, obviously she has like the generic magical girl combat. She's heavily influenced by magical girls, so she has the ability to mimic what magical girls can do. So anytime she gets exposed to a magical girl, she can develop that power. I'll write that in her like little document when I get there. But she also has like the ability to influence ages, as we've seen here. And I also have like a little thought where maybe like this young girl's like goal is to be like, I'm gonna make all the children stop aging in the world so we can be happy kids forever. But obviously that's not really a good thing in the long run, because these kids will, even if their bodies stay young forever, they'll still mature in their brains, I think. I don't know if the age stopping process will stop that, but I'm pretty sure it should. So people are like, suddenly they stopped aging and they're like, why am I not, I want an adult body. And the magical girl's like, no, which is why the facility's like, yeah, we gotta stop her from becoming evil now. Ooh, okay. Rude anyway, but yeah, like, I so desperately wanted Alaina to have like those funny moments where she just says something so out of pocket, or but I'm like, no, I can't do that, it's a serious moment. So things like that, I'm like, I have to sacrifice it, but I do desperately want to keep it there. Okay, this will be the hook for the magical girl. I'll just call it magic temporarily. Magic episode. I'm also gonna write it that Stop muting yourself. Okay, sorry. Okay. She can mimic other magical girl abilities if she likes them. The character. If she likes the character, specifically. If she likes the character. So if she really likes Sailor Moon, which she definitely will, she probably will be like, oh yeah, I could destroy this world right now. But right now I'm kind of just chilling. Okay. Wait. She can mimic other girls. She can other magical. What? Okay. Yeah, there's like, wait, what question wise are you asking? Like, there's like multiple people in like that are abnormal folks, or more magical girls? If, in that case, she's talking about like fictional magical girls, not magical girls as in like other abnormal people who have the same power as hers. Thingies, yeah, yeah. I can see the confusion there. No, she can mimic other magical girls in fiction, basically. So if someone says, "Yo, this is my magical girl, unicorn, flurry heart, whatever," and she has the power to summon unicorns. If this girl likes that power, she'll be like, "I can summon unicorns too! Hurrah!" Basically, that's like what I'm trying to imply here. She can mimic other magical girl abilities if she likes them fictional-wise. Okay, fictional. So now like if she sees like another abnormal person, she'll probably not mimic them because she doesn't see them as a magical girl. However, with Alaina here, she's probably like, if you look like a magical girl, maybe I'll like you a little bit more. Okay. Fictional. I can't spell fictional. No words. Oh, it's with a T. Whatever. Characters. There we go. But yeah. There. This is the opening for hers. I'll continue writing it and going more into detail about her lore once I finally have more ideas for what I want the magical girl's like history and why her, because like, I'm still debating on what I want her like desires and why her like how her desires shaped her as she grew, because like she's still a young, how old is she? She's probably gonna be 13, the same as like the same as she reverted her. I'll make her 13. Okay, is young, 13 specifically. So yeah, she's still young. She, you know, she's like very immature. And so, like, her desire has to be something kind of on that vein, but still, you know, it's like some things, because, like, obviously, she's an orphan, home to home. She doesn't want to be lonely. She wants children to be happy. She doesn't want the children, basically, you know, despite being young, she does have a little bit of a mature mindset to her, where she's like, I don't want, like other children like me going through the same situation as I have, where I feel like I'm not loved by people. I want to be happy as a child forever. So I think I'll go into more on that when I get there. Next one. These two are going to be a little complicated. Mostly you, okay? Okay. Mimic. So with the mimic, I'll make it so their default appearance. Okay, what would should the mimic be? I don't know why this becomes such a dilemma when it comes to writing characters, when I don't have like a specific vision. So with the mimic, I'm thinking like their appearance, they look like a mannequin. I'm gonna write that right now. Okay. You gotta be kidding me. Let me put whatever. Oh, words. I realize mannequin is like the hardest word for me to write because I don't even know how to spell that. Mannequin. Looks like that. Okay, hold up. How the frick? Looks like a mannequin. What the? No, what the? How do you spell mannequin? That is such a... I know it looks weird because I had to write it before, but I actually had to Google it. Oh, with two N's, E. Mannequin. That is such a... I hate English. Okay. Okay. Looks like a mannequin. Okay, so with this... Well, I'm gonna go awkward mute. Okay, there we go. Man. Hold on, wait. Okay. That's how you do it. There's... Sorry. I have to change that bind because I make it so whenever I do like something happens or off stream, I have to like mute myself. That comes up, but it's on the same button where I need to make these bullet points. Okay, I'll figure that. I'll change it later to something that's a little less inconvenient. Maybe I should have done it to the plus sign. I rarely use the plus sign. Okay, so basically, as I was saying though, when it comes to me in writing characters, and I have no idea what gender they are, like because I heard them, he. Them, I think I originally wanted it to be a girl, but then I kept on like imagining it as like a mannequin, and mannequins, they're like smooth. They look like nothing basically, so I'm like so I don't know, because like we already have I could always do the thing where I just go back and forth between doing like the first character that we did, Ink, he's a dude. Second magical girl, she's obviously a girl. So I guess I could always do like the back and forth thing and make this person a guy. Or I could just make it ambiguous and just say like they're non-binary. Just be like, oh yeah, they are they. Which I feel like that would probably be like a cheap answer or like a cop-out. But I'm like, I don't know. Because like it could make sense because with the mimic, they can mimic anyone's appearance. They could look like a dude, they could look like a girl. Maybe this person is not comfortable in like their body. And like they're like, man, I'm just like I want to be like this person, but I can never be like this person. I'll make that so they're like... Sorry. I'll make it so they're like... What's the word? What's the word? Self? Like, they don't like themselves. This is like, what is that word? I know that it's like self-conscious. Hold up. Self-conscious meaning. Self-conscious refers to feeling uncomfortable, nervous, shy, or embarrassed about oneself. Yep, okay. She, he, they are self-conscious. Okay. Self-conscious, which is why, which is... Self-conscious, actually, nope. Desire to be someone else. Okay. It's like people that like have like an admiration for like actors or singers or just like anyone that they admire. They'll be like, I wish I could be this person. I don't want to be myself. That's gonna be like the premise for the mannequins thing. And I think it's gonna be this episode especially is gonna be very strange because they're gonna immediately take the form of Alaina, and it's just gonna be looking at Alaina, but one Alaina looks a lot more sad than the other one basically. Which is strange because Alaina in general, like look at her, she has bags under her eyes, she's already a sad person, so it's like wow, sad deception. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, looks like a mannequin. So maybe I'm thinking. Writing process. Trust the process. Even I tend to experience writer's block a lot, which sucks. Which is why I always like constantly have to like fuel my brain with like things that can inspire me. Which is why I listen to like a lot of horror stories. I watch like a lot of like random TV shows. Even if I think I'm not gonna like them, there's probably gonna be something that I could take away from it, being like, oh yeah, that's something I like about the story, so I'm gonna incorporate that as well in like something I'm gonna write. And, like inspiration in general. Like for example, hold up. I have a bookshelf. Mostly just mangas. I don't have any like novels or anything like that. I should have more novels and things like that. I recently, I purchased a long time ago, I purchased the first volume of Beastars. And I watched the anime, I like the anime, and I realized that I haven't actually, despite purchasing the volume of the first volume of the manga, I never actually opened the book and read it myself. I collected it because I wanted to like be like, yo, I like the show, and I wanted to have something that felt like merchandise of the show. It might not be a figurine, but the book is pretty good. And yesterday, I actually opened the book because the shelf is literally right next to me, and I was looking through the images, and I'm like, man, shit is fire. I'm a sucker for art and things like that. So like just like looking at all the art and because like I'm so used to like seeing anime and cartoons and stuff like that. I don't really take in a lot of furry media, if that makes any sense. So I'm like, hey, animals. I kind of want to write a story like this. Not gonna, but that's like again. I keep on like writing stories and then cutting them off. For example, so you know that what's it called? What's that one anime called? It's like. It's the Hell's Paradise. I legit after watching like the first like episode of like the second part of the season, because I already watched the first one, obviously, of course. What? I wanted to write something similar to that, where it's basically just like a bunch of people forced to be in this one location and for one goal. And I'm like, I want to do something like that, but I don't want to make it seem like a ripoff. So I'm like I'm constantly like fueling other ideas into it. So I'm taking like other ideas from past stories that I've written but never finished. So I'm like, it's a god game where gods or people that want to become god take a human from Earth. But in this case, they took a dead human and they're like, hey, you can choose what life you want in your next life, you know, reincarnation type vibes, or you can choose how your afterlife looks like if you help me win this competition. So that's something that I'm writing. So I'm like, I started writing that story and then I kind of abandoned it and then I returned to it. I keep doing that and I gotta stop doing that. Okay. Because I finished one book. I've written, there's like 3 books that I've actually written and finished. But then I have like hundreds of other ones where I got started and they have a really good opening. But I failed to realize that when it comes to me in writing, if it's not an episodic thing, like for example, I can easily continue writing this story for a long time because I like writing a bunch of different characters. So I know this will have a lot of parts and I'll probably never be out of ideas because you can make any ideas out of this story. But when it comes to like actual like written stories where you have a beginning, a climax, and then an ending, if I don't have the ending in mind, I can't finish the story. It becomes impossible because I don't know what I'm writing everything for. Like, there's so many people who are good at improvising as they write, where they're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna write as I go, and if something comes to me, I'll add it in, and then boom, I finally make it to the conclusion. I envy those people. I want to be able to do that so badly. But no, I have to have things planned out, or else I'm not gonna know what I'm doing. And that's like the same dilemma that I had with the God game situation that's inspired by Hell's Paradise, where I'm like, I don't know how the ending will look like. I mean, obviously the main character has to win, right? But why should they win? I need like also like motivations. Anyways, back on topic. I've got sidetracked. Okay. Mannequin. Looks like a mannequin. The mimic looks like a mannequin in default form. How do you spell default? Default. Nope. Default form. Okay. Looks like a mannequin. Default form. Looks like a mannequin. Default form. Whatever. Self-conscious. Desires to be someone else. What's the word? When they were human, they were ordinary. They were plain and ordinary. But they had huge love for famous people, and that could probably have sparked. Maybe it's like also like a little like an envy situation, envious type of like an envious personality type. Okay, my nose. Okay, but they had a huge love for famous people. Okay, so with the mimic, they're. I feel like this could be like a very interesting episode as well, because maybe like the mimic at some point will probably be like, I want to take your, like, if I wanted to make it go like a little bit darker, the mimic will be like, can I take over your life? And Alaina's like, huh? Ooh, wait, hold up. Can copy other abnormal other abnormals abilities. Level. They gotta be a level S threat, potentially. Well, they don't actively hurt people though. They just copy people. Okay. This is okay. Another dilemma with like the magical girl. If they can become dangerous, but they just choose not to. What would make more sense? Okay, C. I'll make them same as the magical girl. Level C, but can become a level A. Level C, or level S, technically, if they encounter someone that powerful. But can become a level S threat. However, they are too cowardly to actually harm anyone. To actually harm anyone. Think of this character like all bark but no bite. Where like they can like say that, be like, I hate this person. They have such a better life than me. But I'm not gonna do anything about it because that's their life and my life is just tragic and I have to accept that, but I don't want to accept that. Hmm. Too aggressive. Words. Aggressive. I still spelled it incorrectly. Okay. Okay. Looks like a mannequin, self-conscious, desires to be someone else. When they were human, they were plain and ordinary, but they had a huge love for famous or interesting, I guess, or well-accomplished. Well-accomplished people. Envious personality type, but not too aggressive. Can copy other abnormal abilities. Level C, but can become level S threat. How if exposed to one that powerful. One powerful. However, they are too cowardly to actually harm anyone. The copy ability. The copy ability only works when in the form of the person they are copying, which makes it very dangerous because if they wanted to take if they wanted to take someone's form and be like, yo, I am now the magical girl or something, or I am now Ink, and you will never know, but unless, you know, well, actually, that's the only thing. They'd obviously, like, you know, like in movies where, like, who's the real, like, let's say that there's another me next to me being like, who's the real Reap? I'm the one that has my memories, okay? So I'm the one that's, like, that. So it's not, they can never be a perfect copy because they can never get the memories of the person. Perfect copy except for memories. Perfect copy except for personality and memories. Except, Among Us, yeah, except for personality and memories. Okay, there we go. There. So that's like the only way for them to like know. So I feel like when it comes to like, especially like the foundation to avoid any mishaps, they have to constantly probably have like cowords when around this mimic abnormal person by saying, hey, by the way, every time you meet with this like person, whatever, just to confirm that it's you, you know, our coword is donut or something. you know, that type of vibe. So like the people, they have to have like some caution around the mimic despite them being relatively harmless. Okay. All right. I think that's what should the mimic's name be? I wanted something to be ambiguous because I can't think of a gender for them, so they're gonna be a mystery now. They're gonna be a full-out mystery. Man, I hate picking names. I suck at it. Okay. I suck at it. Okay. Let's see. Name. Ambiguous names. Okay. Name generator. Sure, let's see what random names get thrown at me. Okay. Ambiguous. Anything is fine. Morgan. Yeah, actually that works. Why not? It starts with an M like mimic. Okay. Morgan. If someone can come up with something better, go for it. We'll see. For now, we're sticking with Morgan as a temporary name. All right. And it starts with an M. I don't know. When it comes to like mean characters, especially if it's like if they have like an ability, I'm like, I kind of want their name to match the ability. I'm like, that should not be the case though half of the time, because sometimes someone's name does not like, for example, like if someone's superpower could be like, oh, I can talk to animals, their name is not gonna be Anna or something, Anime or something. I don't know what word I'm trying to think of. It wouldn't make sense. They'll probably have like a normal name, because when you get born into the world, people aren't gonna immediately be like, oh yeah, you're like, you know, I say that, but then like there's like history involving most names. Like for example, Mitch is like a name that's associated with like what's it called? I remember what's it called? A Mitchell? It matches something. Or like was it blacksmith? Or no, Smith. Smith is like a name that's connected to blacksmiths. So I'm like, okay, I guess some people choose the names of their children in hopes that they take that occupation or something. It's in the past. It was very, very funny. Okay. All right. Magical girl here. Now the mimic, we have some stuff. Okay, what else? Let's see. Oh yeah, the backstory. Well, no, yeah, technically this kind of counts as their backstory. They're just a person. Yeah, okay, just a person. Okay. Now, writing the mimic stuff. At least the hook for the intro. The beginning part of the mimic. Mimic episode? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. And now the narrator comes in. About to kick some butt. Oh, I'm joking. Okay. Oh yeah, I think actually what I'm thinking of is more like associated with like last names where like they're like, oh yeah, this specific last name is basically just like you just know someone in the past in your life likely had that role, so maybe, probably, most likely. You know, anytime I hear someone whose name is like be like, oh, I'm James Nathaniel III, I'm like, why? I feel like either these families, they're just so proud of their name, or they're just lazy to come up with a new name, so they're like, oh, no, just keep the name going. I'm like, okay. Like, hey, if you have the third in your name, it sounds kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie, but it's also like, damn, are you gonna break the cycle? Are you gonna take the burden of breaking the cycle? How far can the numbers go with like naming someone? Like, does it go like be like, oh, I'm Nathaniel the 100th or something? Can it go that far? Ooh, that's a very odd thing that I never thought of until now. Okay, beginning. In the beginning, Alaina always has to turn on her tape recorder because that's her job, to record the stuff. Turns on her recorder and soon enters the containment cell to be greeted with her next assignment. The mimic. Okay. Go more into detail about the mimic later. Alaina. Okay. Alright. So Alaina turns on a recorder and soon... I don't know if I had to put soon. Alaina turns on her recorder before entering... Before entering the containment cell to be greeted with her next assignment. Alaina turns her recorder before entering the containment cell to be greeted with her next assignment. The mimic. Sure, that works. Okay. Because that's technically its name. Okay. The mimic. Okay. How the frick... Okay, when it comes to, especially when meeting new people, I'm like, should the beginning just always be Alaina just saying hi? Or should I just finally cut to the chase of just Alaina saying, hey, you're so-and-so, right? I feel like I should probably do that. It's still technically saying an introduction, just introducing the person first and then herself. Okay. Hello, mimic, I guess. My name is Alaina, and we will be talking for a bit if you don't mind. For a bit if you don't mind. Okay. The mimic who is currently taking the form of a why did I uppercase that? Mannequin. The mimic who is currently taking the form of a mannequin. I already lost train of thought there. Okay, the mimic who currently the mimic who is currently taking the form of a mannequin slowly, creepily, turns their head in Alaina's dark. The mimic who is currently taking the form of a mannequin slowly turns their head towards Alaina, and quietly stares at her before turning their body to face her. To face her. For the okay, the awkward thing when it comes to the mimic will especially not be able to talk in the first couple of things. Maybe, oh wait, actually, the thing I also forgot to, so every episode, like obviously once they meet with someone who has an abnormal, like a normal mutation, Alaina can manage to reverse one of the things. What the frick can she reverse for the magical girl? For the mimic, I think her thing was to finally unlock their voice. So Alaina, at the end, because like the mimic can't talk until they take the form of someone else. So the mimic will likely talk in Elena's voice to communicate with Alaina. Again, it's gonna be a very confusing episode, a little trippy, but it's easy in the sense that you'll know that Elena's always gonna be on the left side, while the person that she's talking to will always be on the right side. So it shouldn't be too confusing unless they start spinning around, which I don't think I'm gonna make that happen. Unless, you know, the mimic for some reason decides to want to take her identity, but I doubt they're gonna do that. Because again, I'm describing them as more cowardly than malicious. Okay, Alaina, at the end, managed to give the mimic back their original voice. Original voice. I realize I'm kind of debating on whether I want to give like the normal people like some sound effects to their voices. Because like I feel like Ink, he could have benefited with having like a very more monstrous voice. Because like basically I talked like this the entire time. Doing that voice hurt my throat so badly. But I wanted I just wanted him to sound depressed, okay? But like I kind of wanted to add like a special effect, almost like an echo maybe, or some type of distortion. But I was very worried that maybe some of the dialogue wouldn't be able to be heard. And I know I always have the writing there so people can always read it. But I also want it to be like audible so they like people can like continue to like draw or do whatever activities they're doing while listening to it in the background. That's always my dilemma, but I'm like, no, add the sound effects. It could be worth it because it could make it more cool. So I'm probably with the mimic will definitely have some type of alteration so it can better differentiate between their voice mimicking Elena's voice. So anytime Alaina speaks, you know it's Alaina because she sounds normal. And then when the mimic speaks, there's something that's slightly off. So you know that the mimic is the one speaking. So if you're looking away from the screen, you still know who's who. I have to... Ooh, okay. At the end, Alaina at the end managed to give the mimic back their original voice. When, mimic copies Alaina's form to speak. But voice is slightly off. Maybe an echo, or talks a little strangely. Okay. Sure, that works. Okay. So, hello, Mimic. My name is Alaina, and we'll be talking for a bit if you don't mind. The Mimic, who is currently taking the form of a mannequin, slowly turns their head towards Alaina and quietly stares at her before turning their body to face her. Alaina. I know that talking like this isn't... I know talking like this isn't possible for you. So, you have permission to copy me this one time. Okay, there. I'll make it so like the with the mimic, you know, they're a bit, you know, spooked, you know. They're like, I don't know, man. These facilities, they've been putting us through very odd experiments, and I don't want to get hurt, so I'm gonna follow the rules. So the mimic is constantly taking the form of a mannequin because they're not allowed to copy people. So maybe this is also, I'll say this, I'll add this in, so the puppet would be like, I can't actually copy someone. Finally, I can speak. Okay. That works. Okay. I don't know why I have to specify that, but I like specifying things, but I don't know if it's going to be brought up in the episode. I kind of will figure out how to bring it up, though. Okay. I know that talking like this is impossible for you, so you have permission this one time to copy. You won't get in trouble. You won't get in trouble by the guards. Okay. There we go. The mimic hesitated for a moment and scanned around the room before, like, going, I don't know, this feels kind of sus, but I guess I'll do it. The mimic hesitated for a moment and scanned around the room before... When it comes to this ability, should I make it so, like, the mimic can only copy someone? Should the mimic be able to copy someone after they, like, touch them? Or could it just strictly be a sight situation? If it's a sight situation, then... Yeah, sight should work. Oh, wait, I should probably also specify here. Can copy abnormal abilities. I should specify that it can copy other abnormal abilities only if they see the ability in action and understands it. Okay, there. It's words I still can't spell. I understand it. Okay, there. The mimic hesitates for a moment before scanning around the room. Then timidly rubs their arm as their appearance begins to morph into Alaina. There we go. Okay. Rubbed. I don't know why I'm saying this. I always use, when it comes to me in writing characters, when I want to emphasize that they're nervous, I always use like they either rub the back of their neck, they scratch their head, they rub their arm. Because I can't think of any other like nervous tick. I feel like another nervous tick as well is like rubbing their arms, like their hands together, but that also seems like an evil thing to do where they're like, oh, I'm an evildoer and I'm about to do some crime. So I'm like, that's like the least one that I do. And then there's biting their nails, but I'm like, I don't know if that makes sense for this character situation. So the rubbing the arm thing is just always like the default one that I do, okay? Or like technically the rubbing the back of the neck is what I default do. Okay, the mimic hesitates for a moment and scans around the room, then timidly... Actually, no, I could still use before. The mimic hesitates for a moment and scans around the room before timidly rubbing their arm as their appearance begins to morph into Alaina. Once the transformation completed, the mimic takes one step back and awkwardly waves. And awkwardly waves. Okay, now the mimic has a line, okay. Ah. Hello. Okay. What will the mimic say? Clears throat. Clears throat. It's been some time since I spoke out loud. Okay. Alaina. Okay. Hello. Clears throat. I feel like I gotta clear my own throat. Damn, okay. I have cough drops nearby, actually. I'm just gonna default to doing that. I hope it doesn't sound too noticeable on the mic, because that would actually make me sad. Okay. Hello, clears throat. It's been some time, since I spoke out loud. Okay. I was told for... Yeah, I was told for security reasons. Security. Reasons. You're for... Okay, there, I could have squeezed it in there. Perfect. You're forbidden to copy other people to avoid confusion. To avoid confusion. Okay, there. Oh, you know what? You're right, it could. Because like this person, like they definitely they're like ordinary basic, but they do definitely feel out of place, which could connect back to why they desire to be someone else. I'm writing that, hold up. Nervous about not fitting into society. Society, we all live in a society, okay. Okay. In that case, maybe wait. Instead of them being plain, maybe they're suppressing like what they want to be. Or because like I'm debating whether I wanted to make it so like they're envious of people like around them, or they're envious and they want to like copy off of other people so they can be like them, or they're just like so plain and that's why they want to be like other people. Like, well, oh, wait, I'm saying this wrong. Okay, I'm like debating on whether I want to make it so like they're a very ordinary, boring person, and that's why they want to be like someone else. But now with you giving me this recommendation, thank you, I'm like, ooh, maybe I should make it so they're like suppressing their true... Because like when it comes to like life especially, everyone puts on a mask, right? No one is truly like their full selves when around other people, but when you're by yourself, that's when you can be yourself. So I'm like, ooh, that could be a good thing to add here, where they're like on the... Maybe I could probably still fuse the two options together that I'm thinking of. On the outside, when they're communicating with other people, they're boring and like ordinary, but like in private, they have like so much to themselves that they just can't bring out in other people because they're nervous about what society will think about them. Okay, nervous about fitting in society when interacting. That's not okay. When interacting with others is boring, kind of, because they are too nervous to be themselves, which definitely ties in to them being self-conscious. All right, thank you for that fuel of materials. Okay. Okay, yeah, I was told for security reasons you're forbidden to copy other people to avoid confusion. But it's my job to chat with you, and we can't exactly... Or I can't exactly get to know you, and I can't exactly get to know you without getting the chance to listen to your story. Sure, okay. Yeah, I was told for security reasons you're forbidden to copy other people to avoid confusion, but it's my job to chat with you, and I can't exactly get to know you better without talking. Actually, I could just, yeah, without talking. Okay. Mimic. Actually, wait. This could probably be a decent opportunity for the narrator to share some extra tidbits about the mimic. Okay. What should the mimic do before the narrator starts explaining? Thinking, man, thinking. Okay. The mimic nods their head. Hello, Clearstone. It's been some time since I spoke out loud. Yes. Okay. The mimic nods their head and looks down to their feet. This abnormal is a level C threat. Okay. Feet. Okay. This abnormal is a level B threat. However, it's been documented that they can copy other abnormals powers. And if exposed to a level S threat, the mimic could become someone could become words. Okay. This abnormal is a level C threat, however, it's been documented that it can copy other abnormal powers. If exposed to a level S threat, the mimic could become something incredibly dangerous. I'm using the same dialogue as before, incredibly dangerous. Luckily, this abnormal doesn't have an interest in harming other people. They form. Boom. There we go. What the frick just happened? I just saw YouTube said something weird. Did something cut out there? I just didn't realize. Oh yeah, for a second. Oh gosh, yeah, for a second something cut out there, but we're back. Okay. When it comes to me and my Wi-Fi, I get nervous. My Wi-Fi is usually pretty good. But like for some reason, like a week ago, everything was going very awkwardly, and I'm like, could it be because of the cold weather? Maybe, but it's not cold today, so I guess I'm safe. Okay. The mimic nods their head and looks down to their feet. This abnormal is a level C threat. However, it's been documented that it can copy other abnormal powers. If exposed to a level S threat, the mimic narrator voice. The mimic could become something incredibly dangerous. Luckily, this abnormal doesn't have an interest in harming other people. They are described to be mostly timid and awkward. Their only way to communicate is by taking the form of someone else. There. This is a very basic opening, I guess. Yeah, this is the very basic opening to the mimic now. So we got the basic opening for the magical girl, the basic opening for the mimic, and now it's time for the person with the rotten luck, who I am not looking forward to writing because I genuinely have no idea what to write there. Because I have no ideas for this person. Okay. Who will you... Wait. No, it's... Okay, I thought it was a different... What's it called? This thing. Font. Okay. Who should be this rotten person? You know what? I'm gonna do hold on. I'm gonna flip a coin for the gender, okay? Flip a coin. Heads will be a girl. Tails will be a dude. Okay. It is tails, so it's a dude. Okay. Guy. Sorry. I don't know why that made me laugh. Okay. Boop. Okay, it's a dude. There we go. They feel... He feels like he's... This, honestly, out of all of the abnormal person, I don't know what the frick this person could look like, because... With the other one, one's a straight up mannequin, one is just like a young girl who just has, like, some, like, more magical elements to her. But what would someone that has rotten luck look like? What could that look like? Well, I'm gonna look... Let's see. Bad luck. Bad luck. Google's confusing me. Give me a second. Bad words. Okay. That's getting in the way again. What the frick is this? Okay, sorry. I got sidetracked with something that confused me there. Okay, so bad luck. Let me look at images of bad luck to see. Okay, a black cat. That's always associated. Okay, I'm gonna write this off to the corner of things associated with things connected to bad luck. To bad luck. Black cats. I don't want to make a furry. I don't want to make like a cat boy. I feel like that'd be too weird. Okay. Let's see. Oh, lightning. Like lightning strikes. Lightning strikes. Lightning strikes. What else? What else? Walking under. Walking under. Ladder? Yeah, ladder. None of this, like, because like when it comes to like a visual representation of bad luck, it's not really something that you can visualize fully. That's the downside. Stabbed in the back. It's like, I genuinely... What would homie look like? Broken mirror? Oh, wait. The broken mirror might be something. This could be something that could connect to the appearance. Let's see. Okay, taking those elements, what can we make this dude look like? We can make it so it looks like a guy who has cracks. Okay. Appearance. Because sometimes it's hard for me to like come up with a story without knowing what the person looks like too as well. Okay, appearance. They're like a mirror with cracks. Cracks all over their body. Black hair, why not? Black hair. And technically, when you think about it, like mirror cracks, they can look like lightning bolts, so that could also connect to this. Walking under a ladder, I don't know if we could correlate that into the design. Okay, I think this is like a very basic idea. Wait, maybe mirror for eyes. Okay, there, that's the basic idea of what the dude would look like. I don't need these anymore, okay? So they basically just, they look like a guy, but with mirror for eyes, so you can see your own reflection when you stare at yourself, I guess, when you stare at him. Crazy. Cracks of mirror, so he's kind of like a little fragile, very fragile actually if you think about it, and has dark hair. Unless, unless I make them bald. I could make them bald instead. Nah. I'm trying to visualize this. Let's keep the hair. Maybe I should make them so they look like glass, actually. So the hair will also... You know, like, that one anime? What is it called? What is it? Hold on, wait. Crystal anime people? I don't know what it's called. Chris... Lustrous? Land of the Lustrous. That thing. It could be that kind of inspiration. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. I remembered a long time ago. I wanted to watch that, but never did. Okay. Land of the Lustrous. Almost. Appearance. Okay. Why can't I spell today? Hello? Okay. There we go. Now I have an idea of what the dude looks like. Perfect. Okay. He feels like he's cursed and... Oh, wait, I could also do, like, a stand situation where, like, there's, like, a dark cloud following around. A dark cloud. Or maybe a dark cloud of, like, is, like, latched onto the person. A dark cloud is... How do you spell latched? Is... Actually, no, wait. I can make it kind of funny. Okay, wait. A small... Oh, this is where the cat could tie in. A small cat... A small cloud in the shape of a cat is on the shoulder of this dude. There, perfect. That's a good representation of bad luck. I mean, it's a generic representation of bad luck, but it works. Okay. Guy. He feels like he's cursed and... He feels like he's cursed. With bad luck following. With bad luck always appearing around the corner everyone in his proximity. That's what? Proximity. Everyone in his proximity are pretty much in danger. Are in danger of his bad luck. However, he seems to always make it out of those bad situations. So technically, it's kind of like a double-edged sword where obviously it sucks to be always constantly surrounded by bad luck, but being able to live is a great thing because it's like, hey, I lived, yay, that's such amazing luck. But then the bad luck comes back in to continue torturing him. So it's like, it's hard for him to ever feel like it's good luck. Like people around be like, hey, you should be like, maybe, ooh, that could be the backstory where he got into like a variety of accidents maybe when he was younger, and he was like the sole survivor, and he feels like that he's the one with the bad luck that's hurting all the people around him. Because of childhood trauma of being in, or maybe like survival skills actually. It doesn't have to be just solely childhood trauma. History of survivor's guilt in which he survived past accidents when others didn't, and when others didn't, and he feels like he shouldn't have been the one to survive. Okay, there. Well, that's what survival guilt is. I guess I didn't have to like specify it all the way. Okay, now we got his history, so we know his stuff. Hello! So now we know his stuff. What else? I'm trying to figure out how would people contain someone who has rotten luck if bad things will constantly happen around them? How could that possibly be contained? I mean, I guess as long as the dude is like, maybe as long as he does nothing, things should be fine. Or maybe he has like his own little area away from the other containments to avoid any breaches. So she probably, maybe, okay, Alaina has to travel a bit to get to the abnormal. Okay, Alaina has to travel a bit to get to the abnormal because keeping him close to the others is dangerous due to past breaching incidents. Breaching. I don't know how to spell incident. Breaching or incidents. Due to past breaching incidents. Okay. Maybe it's underground, probably. Alaina, but then underground also has a dilemma of other bad luck where people could get caved in, so they have to keep him somewhere far, but still in a location where it's still manageable for his bad luck to contain. How far could his bad luck reach? Let's see. Actually, wait, that also leads to what level threat are you? So, cause like, homie's not doing the harming, but it's still pretty bad. Let's see. I wouldn't say he can destroy a country. That would be kind of overboard. Maybe a level B would make sense. Because like level C, they choose not to harm people, but he doesn't choose it. It happens automatically, and it's not his fault. It just happens. So I guess level B makes sense. Okay, level B, threat, can't control powers. Okay, there. So in this case, instead of it being a desire that correlates with his power, his mutation, instead of it being that, it's more of just like his opinion of himself, believing that he's cursed, he's the one that's bringing the bad luck, and that mutation then translates to like basically giving the power that causes like a lot of misfortune to happen around him. All right, man, how the frick is this? Okay, what would the containment look like? I guess it could still just be a room with a lot of padding. It has to look like an insane asylum room or something, but they don't want this dude to go crazy either. You know, sometimes just writing helps me get that idea down. Okay. I also realized that after I finish like these ones, I also have to do this one next, which I don't have no idea what her coworkers will be like. Okay. Okay. Now we grab you, paste it here because I'm too lazy to write it myself. Okay. And then we do you. The round person, the round luck episode. Okay. No underline. Opening. Okay. For this assignment, assignment, Alaina had, is it had or has? Alaina has to travel. Alaina had to travel for, it's had works, I think. Alaina had to travel to a different facility. The reason for this is due to the abnormal's ability, making it impossible to house them, home them, to contain him in the same facility as the others. Okay. For this assignment, Alaina had to travel to a different facility. The reason for this is due to the ability. No, yeah, I guess that still works. The reason for this is due to the abnormal's ability, making it impossible to contain him in the same facility as the others. I feel like I always use the word regardless, but it's just like a word that I like using a lot. Okay. Also, what the frick is this dude's name? Rotten Luck is his code name, or like the name that the facility gave him. Okay, name generator. Until someone can think of something better, I'll just figure out that. Okay. Male name generator. Until one looks interesting? Hopefully. Okay. Kira. Killer. You know what? I'm kind of tempted. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, I'm very tempted. What the? You know, for now, let's your temporary name until I change. If I decide to change it or not later, your name is Kira. Okay. Okay. Death Note. I swear, you're what's killing me. Wait, actually, I want to see what's the full translation to that. So, Death Note Kira, the something like Yagami, the main character slash villain, antagonist, protagonist, who uses a supernatural notebook to kill criminals. The name is a Japanese transliteration of the English word killer, though in Japanese it can also mean shiny or glittery. Ooh, okay. Okay, Kira. Your name is Kira for now, because you feel like a killer. Okay. Okay. So for this assignment, Alaina had to travel to a different location. The reason for this is due to the abnormal's ability, making it impossible to contain him in the same facility as the others. Okay, there we go. Alaina. What the frick will she say? What is the first thing you say to someone who is... Actually, wait. I kind of want it to be something stupid and goofy where, like, as soon as she walks in, she's like, hello, and then some rubble falls on her. Because, like, hey, these 2 episodes, she's not gonna face any death. The magical girl's not gonna kill her. And the mimic is too wimpy for that. So I guess this could be the episode where she's, like, stuck dying again. She's like, you gotta be kidding me. I thought I was doing fine. Okay. Oh, wait. I have a stupid idea. Okay. Hello? What? Is there another way to say rotten luck without that? Hold up. Rotten luck. Other ways to say. Okay. Common ways to say rotten luck includes hard luck tough. What? Oh, wait. Break misfortune. Ill what? Maybe misfortune. But like the miss part is probably... Now I kind of want to change the gender to a girl because of the misfortune. It kind of makes sense. Wait, misfortune refers to bad luck or Unfortunate. Should I just say unfortunate? Hey, Mr. Unfortunate, how you doing? No. No, no, no. Okay. Let's see, let's see. Yeah, and I kind of want to do unfortunate because it's kind of that's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, let's just stick with rotten. Maybe rotten for short, but rotten luck is like the full like code name for this dude. Okay, why do I always put person in front of things? Okay, hello, 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 spell correctly. Okay, hello, rotten luck. I'm Alaina, and I will... Sorry. Okay. I will. Before she could finish her introduction, the same as with ink. Okay. Before she could finish her introduction, I still can't spell. A fly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Alaina. A fly enters her mouth, causing her to choke. How do you spell choke? Oh shoot. Choke. Nope. Nope. Choke. Causing her to choke. In response, rotten luck runs to her side to pat her back, but oh, this is kind of dark. But he accidentally slapped her back too hard, which caused her to fall and hit her head against gosh, this is so dark. Against the wall mounted bench, killing her basically. Okay. Before she could finish her introduction, a fly entered her mouth, causing her to choke. In response, Rotten Luck runs to her side to pat her back, but he accidentally slapped her too hard, which caused her to fall and hit her head against the wall-mounted bench. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay. Okay. Rotten Luck is saying that, by the way. Okay. Rotten Luck. Don't worry, I'm immune to your rotten luck, though I feel like I have my own bad luck myself. Okay. You got to be kidding me. Okay. How do you spell kidding? No, gotta be kidding me. Gotta be kidding me. Rotten? No, yeah. Rotten luck. Lick? Ew. Rotten luck. Let's see. Falls to his knees. And falls to his knees to look at Alaina, who soon... Wait, there should be a bit of a longer pause there. Okay, Rotten Luck falls to his knees to look at Alaina, feeling guilty, feeling consumed by despair as he realizes that his bad luck strikes again. Okay. Rotten Luck falls to his knees to look at Alaina, consumed by despair as he realizes that his bad luck strikes again. However, Alaina quickly bounces back and quickly sits up, startling the man. Startling the man to the point he banged his head? He banged his head against, he banged his head on the wall behind him. On the wall behind him. Okay. Alaina. When they told me a lot of misfortune, I don't know if when they told me a lot of accidents can happen around you, I thought they were over exaggerating words. That's not correct. Yep. I thought they were over exaggerating. Where did that fly even come? I thought they were over exaggerating. Where did that fly just appear out of that fly just spawned into existence, basically. Okay, Round Luck falls to his knees to look at Alaina, consumed by despair as he realizes that his bad luck strikes again. However, narrator. However, Alaina quickly sits up, startling the man to the point he banged his head on the wall behind him. Alaina. When they told me a lot of misfortune can happen around you, I thought they were exaggerating. Okay. There we go. Alaina cracks her neck. Cracks her neck? Or stretches her neck? What's the word where someone, like, basically, like, I think cracks the neck is the correct term. I never really write that term before. Wait. Cracks neck. Just to make sure I'm using it correctly. Cracking your neck or neck something refers to the audible popping. No, yeah, that works. Okay. Perfect. Okay, Alaina cracks her neck before suddenly I'm brain farting. Oh, picking up her belongings, then helping run Luck up to his feet. Okay. How are you? Run. Luck. Okay. How are you? Alive? Just Alaina. Nope. Alive? Well, you're in luck because you see what she did there. You're in luck because your bad luck can't easily kill me. I hope. Anyways. Alive? Well, you're in luck because your bad luck can't easily kill me. I hope. Anyways. Anyways, as I was saying, I'm here to chat with you. There we go. And then the narrator gives some additional information, and that's the opening for Round Luck. Okay. Alaina. Stretches out her hand to shake Rotten's. I could also just make his appearance. If I don't go with the glass theme, I could also just make it so he's like a rotten tomato or something where he's kind of like full of mold and stuff like that, but I feel like that's a little too gross. Okay. So I'll stick with the glass. It's fragile. Wait. I could go back to here. Wait. Okay. However, Alaina quickly sits up, startling the man to the point he banged his head on the wall behind him, which caused some cracks on his... Which caused some cracks. Which caused more cracks. Which caused more cracks on his glass. body. Technically mostly head. Okay. Which caused more cracks to form on his glass body. There we go. Yeah, I'll stick with the glass theme. I'm kind of hooked to that now. Okay. Alaina stretches out her hand to shake Rotten's, but he was too nervous. Actually, wait. Since he's full of rotten luck, I doubt that he even wants to touch people, so he probably wouldn't even, like let her help him up. So, however, Alaina quickly sits up, startling the man to the point he banged his head on the wall. Okay, wait. Cracks her neck before picking up her belongings, then offering to help Rotten Luck up to his feet, but he stood up on his own. Because he's like, no, I'm like consumed with bad luck germs. I don't want them to spread onto you. No. Actually, that could be a thing. Like, coming into contact, like, touching him could also almost, like, act like a sickness of bad luck. I'll write that as, like, a maybe idea. Touching him could cause temporary... That's not how you spell temporary. Temporary bad luck. Touching him could cause temporary bad luck to the person who touched him. There we go. Okay. Alaina stretches out her hand to shake Rotten's, but he continues to refuse her contact. There we go. Okay. Alaina cracks. I feel like I also kind of want to do this thing that the more episodes go by, the more confidence that Alaina gets, because she's like, oh yeah, I can't die. I can always reverse my body. I'm fine. I can handle talking to these people. So like as the time goes by, she'll go from like this timid like woman to like saying, oh yeah, you are going to talk to me whether you like it or not. I want to help you and I'm going to help you. I'm like a doctor that's very strict. That's kind of like what I'm like hoping to achieve with like her character a bit, where she like after a while you're like, oh yeah, she knows what she's doing. She's confident in her role in this foundation, organization, facility, place. Yeah. Okay. Alaina stretches out her hand to shake Rotten's, but he continues to refuse her contact. This abnormal. Why are you not in caps? Okay, this abnormal is a level... What threat did I agree on you for? A level B. A level B threat. Let's see. How far... Okay, how big... Okay, wait. Maybe I want it, like, the facility... Like, the proximity of him. I don't want it to be abnormally large, because then I feel like that would be too much. I don't want it to be, like, a city length. Maybe... How long is a football stadium? Why not? That could work. How big is a football field? That works. Okay. Right, I don't even have to say yards or kilometers or whatever, or feet or whatever, because that would be too much. I'll just say, I'll just make that comparison, because people immediately will know what I'm saying. Actually, what's the biggest field out there? Is there something that's bigger than a football field? Just slightly bigger? What's bigger than a football field? I want to, like, fact check everything. Okay, separate areas are larger than, oh, well, yeah, standard American football field. Soccer. Well, yeah, I guess it depends. I'll just stick with the soccer one because I don't want to overly confuse myself. Okay. This abnormal is a level B threat, and he is known. And I realize that for the other characters, I didn't introduce their codenames either. Dang it, I have to go back. Okay, real quick, going back to the introductions of the other ones. Okay. Let's see. Alaina nervously laughs as the magical girl begins to circle around her. This young girl is a level C threat, known as Magical Girl. This abnormal is a level C threat known as Magical Girl with a high potential of becoming a level S threat. Okay, and then where's Mimic? Where are you? Okay, there you are, Mimic. Okay. The mimic nods their head and turns down to their feet. Technically, I already said their name, but it's still important. This abnormal, known as the mimic. Okay, mimic nods their head and looks down to their feet. Usually, when I start making the video, if the dialogue sounds awkward when I'm saying it out loud, I usually go back and fix it. So I'll just leave that there for now. Okay. Alaina stretches out her hand to shake Rotten's, but he continues to refuse her contact. This abnormal is a level B threat, and he's known as Rotten Luck. His luck is bad luck. The proximity of his luck is as stretches. How do I write this? Okay, the proximity of his luck is comparable to a football field, and anyone misfortunate enough. Why can't I spell today? Nope. Misfortunate. Still wrote it wrong. Okay. Misfortunate. I still figured out a way to use that word. Okay. Alright. Unfortunate. Okay, I guess if you want that, fine. The proximity of his luck is comparable to a football field, and anyone unfortunate enough to be within range will experience a variety of terrible accidents. Okay. Alaina stretches out her hand to shake Ron's, but he continues to refuse her contact. This abnormal is a level B threat, and he's known as Rotten Luck. The proximity of his luck is comparable to a football field, and anyone I want to still say misfortunate. Let's see. Anyone misfortunate, if it doesn't autocorrect, I'm keeping it that way because I want to say misfortunate so bad. A football field, and anyone misfortunate enough to be within range will experience a variety of terrible accidents. What else should I add on to that? I should also mention that he's, surprisingly, he can, what's the word? He can, like, navigate around? No, because then that means he's, like, consciously doing it, but it's not really consciously. Surprisingly, he can. Surprisingly, his luck doesn't affect him personally. Autocorrect? Surprisingly, his luck doesn't affect him personally. Meaning, he can escape any terrible situation relatively unscathed? I don't know how to... Relatively unscathed. There we go. I always do that. I put his instead of he's. He's, I said... Bleh. I always put he's instead of his. Okay. Surprisingly, his luck doesn't affect him personally, meaning he can escape any terrible situation relatively unscathed. Is that the right? Wait. Actually, now I'm nervous. I'm using the word incorrectly. Unscathed. Unscathed is an objective meaning, completely unharmed, uninjured. Okay, then yeah. Relatively unscathed. Yeah. Okay, perfect. He's made of glass. Or, no, yeah, he's made of... Oh, wait, hold up. Surprisingly, his luck doesn't affect him personally, meaning he can escape any terrible situation relatively unscathed. Which, hold on, wait. Which is surprising because he's made of glass. But which is surprising because he's made of glass. This is what I get when I type too fast. Okay. Okay, I need to change this. Okay. There we go. Okay. Alaina stretches out her hand to shake Ron's, but he continues to refuse her contact. This abnormal is a level B threat, and he's known as Rotten Luck. The proximity of his luck is comparable to a football field, and anyone misfortunate enough to be within range will experience a variety of terrible accidents. His luck, however, doesn't affect him personally, meaning he can escape any terrible situation relatively unscathed, which is surprising because he's made of glass. There we go. Now that's Rotten's stuff. We'll go back to you more, and now the final opening piece, her and her co-workers. Because it's not just her constantly interacting with, well, obviously she's the majority of the episodes will be her interacting with the abnormals, but there's also other people around her. Maybe some of them also have abnormal abilities. And I could also use this as an excuse to bring back Ink to show his progress, being like, hey, Ink, you're about to be a guard, and he's like, I guess so. And it's all thanks to you, homie. And she's like, yeah, I'm everyone's best friend now, basically. Okay, what? I don't want to overdo it with how many characters get introduced into this episode, because then that means it will be too crowded. So I'll just designate it to just a few. 2 guards, one of them being one guard that's training Ink, one guard that's training Ink. Okay, let me also make this. Okay. Characters. Okay, characters. There we go. One guard that's training Ink. Military type of person. I'll just make the like generic descriptions. Okay. One guard that's training Ink. Ink will obviously appear. I already know what Ink's like, so I don't have to go into detail about him. A researcher. Wait, one. I'll make it like a dude. A male, a female. Female researcher. Okay, this I could either make her like a, because like I feel like this guard, he's already gonna be a serious character, and I don't want to pack too many serious characters, so I'll make like a goofy, a silly, charming, and charming charming, that's not correct either. Charming researcher, similar to Alaina, or should they just be human? Thinking. How many characters should be? So there's already 3. I could add one more. Okay, first let me think of this one. So female, silly and charming researcher. What should your job be? Hold on, wait. Because like Alaina, she's the one interacting, and obviously if they're willing to hire abnormal people, it wouldn't be too far off to assume that maybe they could also do it. But what would their ability be? Because I feel like I kind of want to save the thought of having someone who has like the ability to be like see into the future for like one of like a higher up, like specifically like a founder maybe, or like someone in like a council. If there's like a council, I kind of want to do that situation where they have that ability, but I'll save that for like a later idea. So who else? Ink is gonna appear with the guard, so they're gonna interact with her at the same time. So I'll make it so the female has like a partner. Could be another lady. Let's see. Maybe should I make it an older woman? I kind of want to like add a granny into the series. I'm not gonna lie, just like a sweet old lady and like this youth. Yeah, that would be a funny dynamic. A young woman. Words. Can't I spell it? A young woman, silly and charming. And older lady. Older lady. Should she be the serious one? Or just like maybe... No, I'll say like tough love type of personality. Tough love type of person. Where they're like, we're gonna do our work whether you like it or not, and you gotta like it, because we're doing some very important things. It's been a while since I did an old lady voice, and I can't do old lady voices too well. Okay. So, okay. So those two, and I kind of want to have like one ominous encounter where maybe she does come across like a council member. Okay, and a council member, yeah, okay. Council. Council member of the organization. Why can't I still spell that word? I have to switch the I and the A. Okay. That is not how you spell cancel. Counsel? Is it? It is. It is. Refers to legal advisors, yep, lawyers, attorneys, or who represent clients in court. Now I don't know if I'm using that correctly. Hold on. Let me see. Higher ups in a organization are called. Because I don't want to just say higher ups constantly when I'm referring to like the big people. Okay. Senior management, something leadership, blah 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 blah, CEO, president, director, maybe. Actually, it could be a word. A superior. Superior also kind of works if you think about it. Top dogs, okay. Maybe a director. Could be. Oh wait, let me look more into this. An organization director. Just to see if I'm interpreting this correctly. An individual who serves on its governing body known as the board of... Yeah, probably that makes more sense. Okay. One director member. Just one director. One director of the organization. Now this one, I want to make like an intimidating hot woman. Giving the similar vibes of that one anime character whose name I can't remember, but she has like ice powers. And all the main characters die, basically. Akane got killed, you know, that one icy lady. I'm gonna give the similar vibes to that. Okay. Serious. Pretty lady? Okay. Oh, doing her voice is gonna be a challenge if I do it. Oh, no. You know, in moments like this, I'm kind of... A part of me is like, man, I want to turn to my sister so bad and be like, hey, sister, can you do, like, a mature woman voice? But she doesn't have a microphone. She just has a phone, and that's not gonna work out. Okay, so these will be the 4 people that she'll be meeting. Quick interaction with those 2, quick interaction with those 2, and then you. Okay. How will that go? Shoot, okay. Soup. You. Okay, there we go. Now, narrator. You come in. You open up the scene. Alaina is calmly walking down the halls. Calmly walking down the halls after completing all her assignments for the day. She's... Okay. Alaina's calmly walking down the fall. You gotta be kidding me. Why do I keep misspelling things? Okay. Is calmly walking down the hall after completing all her assignments for the day. She's becoming a capable... I wouldn't really call her a researcher couple. Capable... consultant? What would her job entail? She's kind of almost like a therapist, if anything. Employee. Let's see. She's becoming a capable... She's not quite a well, she's kind of doing research on these people by talking to them to learn more about their history, but she's not doing a lot of the work that these people are doing. I'll just say worker. She's becoming a capable worker. She's becoming a capable worker for abnormal research. For abnormal research. Okay. Alaina's calmly walking down the hall after completing all her assignments for the day. She's becoming a capable worker for abnormal research. For abnormal research. She's becoming a capable worker for abnormal research. And has been given praise for her efforts. This boosts her confidence. This boosts her confidence immensely. How do you spell immensely? Immensely? Nope. Is that correct? I think it is. Immensely. Meaning to very great degree. Yes, it is. Okay, perfect. Alaina is calmly walking down the halls after completing all her assignments for the day. She's becoming a capable worker for abnormal research and has been given praise for her efforts. This boosts her confidence immensely. And she isn't as anxious as she used to be. I realize that I haven't given any of these people their names either. Oh, shoot. Okay, what? Okay. Looking up names once more, just to see what the frick would stick for this dude. I don't know if I should give these people like code names, but I don't see the need for them to, like, cause they're all working together. Why would they give each other code names? It would make sense for them just to go by the names that they like. Okay. Or by the names that they are born with, question mark. Okay. Just by their names, okay. Should I just go with a generic name? Sure, I'll go with Tex. Okay. Tex. Okay. Old lady names. Old lady names. Give me something sweet, something adorable, but something that sounds a little mature as well. Agatha. That's a little too aggressive. A Hazel. That's kind of cute. Okay. Hazel. Doesn't sound like an old lady name to me, but it's still funny. Okay. Cute names for this girl. Okay. Roxanne. 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 I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. Okay. How do you spell it again? Where the frick is it? I lost it. Oh no. Oh. Roxanne. Oh. Roxanne. There we go. And then Silas, I have to fact check what the frick, if Ink's name's actually Silas or not, because I changed it a handful of times. I think I was gonna call him something else, but I can't remember what I was gonna call him. Okay. But I think I did settle with Silas. Was it Silas? Let me know. Let me know. Shut up, okay? Just hearing my voice, like, speaking back to me, I'm like, no, get off my face, okay? It is Silas, okay, cool. Silas. There we go. Perfect, okay. So I'll just do their first interaction, and then the other interactions I'll get to them later once I flesh out more of the characters in my brain. Okay. Text. Guard. So I also know. Okay, guard. Okay. Ooh. Okay, manly. Right, like a dude. Okay. I can't do. Okay, how's it going? How's it going, Alaina? Okay. Hi, because Alaina, she's probably familiar. Why can't I spell names right now? Because Alaina, she's probably familiar with these people, so she's not gonna have to introduce herself, because they already know. They already know each other. How's it going, Alaina? Oh, text, but it's important for her to still say the names, so the audience knows. Oh, text. I'm almost finished. I just got a report. I just have to submit my reports, and I'm done for the day. How are you? Okay, I'm giving her a different voice again. Okay. This sounds like she's so very fun. That's not the correct voice. She sounds like I am going to kill someone voice. Okay, not really. Okay. Oh, text. I'm almost finished here. I just have to submit my reports and I'm done for the day. How are you? Same. Same old. But I'm training someone you're familiar with. Well, actually, same old. But I'm training someone you are familiar with. You know words. Okay, dude. Think like a dude. Okay, same old. But I'm training. But actually, nah. Take away the same old. I'm currently training someone. I'm currently training someone, and you actually know. You actually know the guy. I do? Okay. I do? Words? I do? Stepping from around the corner. Stepping out from around the corner. Alaina immediately spots ink. Immediately spots Silas, also once known as Ink. He has changed a lot the past few okay, this is gonna be basically like a time jump situation. Months. Okay. Stepping out from around the corner, Alaina immediately spots Silas. Who was once known as Ink. He has changed a lot the past few months. Thanks to Alaina's ability to reverse thanks to Alaina's reverse ability. Due to Alaina's reverse ability. Okay. Stepping out from around the corner, Alaina immediately spots Silas, who was once known as Ink. He has changed a lot the past few months thanks to Alaina's reverse ability. However, he still has those dark tentacles sprouting from his back. Sprouting from his back. Okay. He has changed a lot the past few months thanks to Alaina's ability. However, despite looking more like himself from the past, he has changed a lot the past few months thanks to Alaina's reverse ability. However, despite looking more like hold up. He has changed a lot for the past few months thanks to Alaina's reverse ability. However, despite looking more like himself. However, he still has those dark. Despite looking more like himself from the past. I feel like that sounds a little more smoother? Question mark? Okay. Stepping out from around the corner, Alaina immediately spotted Silas, who was once known as Ink. He has changed a lot the past few months thanks to Alaina's reverse ability. However, he still has those dark tentacles sprouting from his back despite looking more like himself However, he still has those dark tentacles sprouting from his back, which is an awkward contrast to his more human. I'm trying to figure out how to make this. Okay, wait, hold up. Because I want to explain that he's also because I know in the visuals, obviously, you can see that in this episode he'll look more human. But I want to still describe it though. Stepping out from around the corner, Alaina immediately spotted Silas, who was once known as Ink. He has changed a lot for the past few months thanks to Alaina's reverse ability, looking more human again. But, there we go, that makes more sense. Looking more human again, but he still has those dark tentacles sprouting from his back. Silas. They're like homies now. They basically, it's like off-camera stuff, but like, obviously she's been constantly like doing like therapy sessions with him or something, just talking and getting to know them. So they're basically like friends at this point. Okay. Alaina. It's good to see you. It's good to... And he's now more sociable. It's good to see you. Good to see you. It's good to see you. Okay, Alaina, it's good to see you. Okay. Words. What will she say in response? Okay. Likewise. Likewise. I'm so happy to see that you took my suggestion to join the likewise, I'm so happy to see you took my suggestion to become a guard. Silas. That's the least. If I can help make this place safe for someone like you, I'm willing to lend my strength. Okay. If I can help make this place safe for someone like you, I'm willing to lend my strength. Text. Text? Smacks? Smacks the back of Silas's head. Smacks the back of Silas's head. Whoop. Okay. I know you two are friends now, but you can't get distracted. There we go. I know you two are friends now, but you can't get distracted. Okay, there. I think that's where I'll cut off that segment. Okay. I was about to underline that. What's words? Okay. There we go. Bond. And then I think I'll also maybe even have like little moments of like Alaina, like if the other people that she's also talked to were given like access to wander around, I'll also maybe have like little bloopers of her encountering the others as well, being like, "Hey Mimic, is that you?" And like the Mimic's like, "Yeah, what's good?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm doing good. See you around." And the Mimic's like, "Yeah." Anyways, I'll do that stuff. But yeah, these currently the basic idea for how the episode, the log will open. Cool. I got some ideas. I got some stuff flowing. I'll get the creative juices they will continue to be pumping. Words, that sounds a little awkward. But yeah, and I still need to think of, like, design-wise, what I want those, like, characters to look like. The Mimic, that one's the easiest one. It's just a mannequin. Granted, drawing that will look a little funky in my art style, because I rarely draw anything that's featureless. Oh, but I'm willing to take the challenge, so I'll do it anyways. For the magical girl, I have no ideas, actually. Nothing at all. Hold on, let's see. Let's see, if the magical girl, let's have like a basic, let me have like a basic idea for what the magical girl could look like. What color? I'm gonna do a color generator. Color generator. Pick a color for me. Please let it not look like a weird color. Let it be like something that makes sense for a magical girl. I said something that makes sense for a magical girl. Okay. You know what? Sure. Frick it. Okay. Give me 1 second. Whoa. Okay. Boom. It's this color. It's like orange, okay? Hinata almost. Okay. So, magical girl, let's see. The generic thing when it comes to magical girls, they have pigtails. So I'm probably gonna give her pigtails because I also gave her like a stuffed rabbit. So that's what's gonna be given to her. Oh, her hair will be, I guess, everything about her will just be this color. Let's see. I need the basic idea down of just what I want it to look like. Oh, wait, I need like, oh, no, wait, the downside when it comes, I want magical girl outfits. Magical girl outfits. Because I kind of want to give her like a Lolita type of outfit. Because those are just so adorable and cute. I'm gonna look, actually, yeah, that requires, when it comes to designing things, I can't just do it like this, where it's just like a crude little sketch art where I'm like, okay, yeah, that's her dress. She has little fluffs. And what is this body? I'll get around to figuring out, but this, I guess her color will be whatever this is. All right. Let's see, I'm looking at examples of these dresses. I'm getting some ideas. Okay. The final product will probably look something similar to this one, but with other stuff as well. So I'll continue looking into that because I don't want to like rush a design when it comes to figuring out what that will look like. And then for the rotten luck guy, he's just gonna be glass with mirrors for eyes. So I guess the adding a reflection in his eyeballs is probably going to be one big pain in the ass. But I'll get around to doing that as well. The easiest one, of course I had to start off with like the easiest one for Ink. Because Ink is literally just like a dude who's shrouded in darkness. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have to do too much there. I could improvise darkness. Let me move myself real quick. But yeah, I got the basic the basic ideas down for what I want to do for the next part. So I'm get excited. I also am gonna try to make it so like the visuals look a little bit more nicer, a little more interesting. Because like when I look back on the video, I'm like, man, because I think it's just because like the way I edited it, the way I edit it, it kind of does look a little like blurry, or like the character models, they look a little funky. So I'm like, I could adjust their appearances to make it slightly less static or less awkward. Wrong thing. Hold up. Wait, where's the view? Right here. Like this guy, he has like so many like dripping, like not so many, but like a handful of dripping things that kind of looked awkward in like the look at those weird claw hands, where it looked a little awkward when I was like editing the video, and I tried to fix it but I just couldn't. So I think I'm gonna like find other ways to make it so it doesn't look as weird when the because like when the characters are up close, let's see, like when the characters are close, they don't look too bad, but like the farther they are, that's when it looks a little funky. So when I get to the editing, I'll do that. I have to continue writing though for the stuff. I gotta make at least 10 pages, 10 to 20 pages long for me to be satisfied with making the video, because I don't want it to be like a very short video. If it's a very short video, then I'm like, dang, I did my job incorrectly. So yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna do some extra writing. I'm gonna do some extra studying and designing, because I want the characters to look more interesting than Ink here, who's just basically a naked man. Well, the mannequin is not gonna be that interesting, but he's gonna look like Alaina, and Alaina's kind of cute. I hope. I think she's cute. Okay. So yeah, till next time, drink some water, eat some lunch, have some snacks, maybe some chips. I love me some chips. The other day I bought some hot Cheetos. I love me some hot Cheetos. I'm gonna eat that. I don't know why I'm saying that. Anyways, but also eat breakfast first. Or no, eat lunch first before your snacks, people. Eat something healthy first. You know, like a banana, some broccoli. Maybe not together, but you know what I mean. But yeah, till next time, I better not catch you dying on me. Goodbye!